identify opportunities that you could use to unlock your business potential.
You need the money to be able to invest so that it can grow itself.
Money Talk is a mentorship program for young people in business, mainly maybe from poor backgrounds and might not be able to access some of the mentorship opportunities that the rest of us have had access to.
This is Business Foresight. In our diary, the focus begins on the Kenyan market, where the latest Central Bank of Kenya money transfer data for up to August shows that telecommunications firm Safaricom has now handled slightly more than 4% of all cash remitted to Kenya from foreign countries. In East Africa, the Nile Basin includes 11 countries that either use or are the source of the much of the river water. They are Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Egypt, Sudan, Tanzania, Burundi, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. About 25 dams are either under construction or have been planned by the riparian states along the Nile. Now, the countries that share the Nile waters Monday warned that the region could go to war unless a new treaty on the use of the Nile waters is drawn up. And on the African platform, the World Bank projects African economies will grow by 5.2% annually from 2015-2016, up from the current 4.6%. Now, the bank's new Africa's Pulse, a twice-yearly analysis of the issues shaping the continent's economic prospects, however, warns that the Ebola threat and terrorism may upset growth. The forecast notes that significant public investments in infrastructure, increased agricultural production, and expanding services in African retail, telecoms, transportation, and finance are expected to continue boosting growth in the region, despite weaker than expected global data. And finally, on the global scene, the European stock markets fell for the second day Wednesday, pushing world share indexes back towards their lowest in 6 months as concerns mount over the strength of the global economic growth. Now, focus from the International Monetary Fund on Tuesday added that the sense that the world economy is still struggling to break out of the cycle of low growth and financial trauma it has been stuck in since 2008 during the recession. In our interview segment of the day, we speak to Winnie Wambui, who is the proprietor of a chain of hotels, including Hadassah Hotel that is adjacent to the Nairobi hospital. And she's just 26 years of age. She's minting money in an industry that is considered very difficult to penetrate. What is her secret? You don't want to miss that. Thank you so much, Winnie, for your time.
Thank you, Zawadi.
I just want you to tell us about yourself. Who is Winnie?
Well, Winnie, as you mentioned before, thanks for stealing my age. I'm 26 years old. I am from a family of 4 and a single mother. I have studied abroad. I did my undergrad in international business and my graduates in MBA in marketing and MBA in finance. Yes.
Well, very young, I said, and minting money in an industry that is considered very difficult to penetrate, particularly in the central business district of Nairobi. What has been your secret? How have you, evolved to come to this?
Minting money, I wish that was the case, but at least we make even. We can't complain. God has been great. Above all, I want to give him honor and thanks for all this. Without that, that would not have been possible. But above all, I think it's hard work and determination and providing a service that is not in our current market. Our main target as a chain of hotels is to provide quality service at affordable rates. That's, I think, what mostly drives us. So to beat the higher class hotels and to beat the small mom and pops, we try to get an average of what Kenyans are lacking. Something that where they can save money given the economy now, and also something which they can enjoy and feel like they've gotten worth for their money.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at a young person downtown who's trying to establish a small business, probably an eatery, a kiosk, or some food place, and they're wondering what can they do to get to this. You probably need to explain to them what has been your journey, what have you gone through, what are the challenges, and how have you overcome them?
Okay, definitely challenges, especially given that we started from nothing, is capital. Challenges are mostly capital because you need the money to be able to invest so that it can grow itself. So I'm assuming if there's a person running a kiosk, they don't have enough capital to do maybe a restaurant or even a bigger hotel. So our most challenge was getting a capital, which we were able to overcome by getting financing through Equity Bank, which was quite a good partner in that. So we have to give credit to that too. So once they go past the challenge, which is getting capital, and get into a finance institution which will support them and which is willing to grow their dream, it's very possible to overcome that. Then from there you'll be able to now implement systems which make the daily running of the hotels possible.
We have seen so many people that go into business. Probably someone thinks of starting a taxi business, and they take a loan or credit facility, and a couple of months on, they are unable to pay back. The same institution that lended them the money comes back and auctions the property from them. How has your arrangement been different with the bank, and possibly what is the secret? How have you been able to comfortably sort that credit facility and also break even?
First of all, when you're getting into business, you have to realize what you want to do and project 10, 15, 20 years from then. Then if you see this is a demand that will be there across those 20, 15 years, then from there you'll be assured to have business running. So what most people forget is that they look past 5, 10 years. If you don't do that, then of course down the line your business might have a potential of crashing. But if you look at a potential where your market is growing and the business you're offering will have a high demand, then you will not have a problem with meeting your expenses or paying your interest or paying your loans back. Because then your return will be faster than the demand from the banks for interest and loans.
Mm-hmm. If you were to do this again, what would you do differently if you were to begin all over again?
Personally, I don't live with regrets, so I think I would probably direct most of my funds into a property that might be costly at the beginning, but down the road will have a higher return. That way you don't have to have your credit line with the banks for a longer period, because with that you have higher interest rates which eat up into your profits. So what I would probably do is that's about it.
Mm-hmm. There's so many people who say there are critical things to consider when you're beginning a business. You can choose to invest in marketing, you can choose to invest in human resource, and that is the people. You can choose to invest in the product. Where has your focus been and why?
Our focus honestly has been in the product mostly. Then we've worked backwards, which most companies would not, I would personally not advise for that. But given the circumstances we had to work on the product first so that we implement human resource, of course, and then work on the marketing. So what I would advise is that once you have the product, then at least you'll have something to market. And once you have the product, then you will need the human resource to take part in that. So I think number one would be invest in a good product, which you will have to not focus too much on to sell. It will pretty much sell itself. Yes, then you can invest on HR and marketing after that, just to push it.
Let me cut you short. You mentioned about the uniqueness of the product, and you said the kind of food, for example, in the hotel and services you offer is quite different from the rest in the market. What are the specific, where is your focus? How is that food differently? Is it in the food itself, the kind of food you offer, or is it in the way it's prepared?
I think bottom line is how the food tastes at the end of the day, once you put it in your mouth and what you expect. So we don't really focus on high-end food or fine dining. Our main focus is home food, which if you're working in this area, like in Upper Hill, there's a lot of offices, there's hospitals, and most people in this area are not in a position to either carry food every day or to find another location with the same quality and type of food. So we try to offer a food that you can find at home, a food that will satisfy you, a food that is number one, very healthy, and a food that will make you go back to work and have some good energy to continue with the day.
Mm-hmm. What is your advice? What would you say to young people who are watching you out there and look up to you, think they want to copy something or to emulate something you're doing?
My advice is believe in what you want to start. Make sure that yourself, beginning with yourself, you know exactly what you're trying to sell and that you have faith in it, and you're sure that even if you're to tell your mom, your sister, your uncle, your cousins about it, they will also feel the same spirit that you have with that product that you're trying to sell. So number one, don't rush into something because you want to make money, because down the line you'll end up not having a passion for it. So make sure whatever you're starting, you have a passion for it, number one, so that you can be able to pass that good feeling or that good spirit across the board to everyone else who know you want to sell. This includes your investors, this includes your customers, your employees. So you need to have the passion from within. Then after that, with God's help, I'm sure, and hard work, you should be able to prosper.
Mm-hmm. What is anything else that you would like to tell us or tell our viewers that you probably feel you need to speak out about?
I feel like for most women out there, I'm going to speak as a woman, that we feel like you have to be dependent on someone, e.g. a man, or you have to have someone outside there to help you push. I feel like whatever you have, and if you have faith in what you want to do, get the right support. Come to me. And I have very many networks of fellow women who are trying to get into business and who are already successful. Come to me directly. Then from there I can guide you and assist you where I can.
Now, how are you able to balance work and family? Are you probably you need to begin by telling us, are you the firstborn, the second, third, or fourth?
I'm the thirdborn of 4. I have an elder brother, I have an elder sister, then followed by me, then followed by my younger sister. So we are 4 siblings. How am I able to manage work and family? Thank God for me, I work with my family. So at work I'm with them, at home I'm with them. So I don't have a choice as to when I'll hang out with them or not. I see them at work, we discuss business, we make jokes, we enjoy work. When we go home, it's the same. So with me, there's no huge distinction between the two because I feel like they are one in one, yes.
There's so many big challenges. We've seen families fight over property, fight about who controls what, and that sort of becomes a very big challenge in running an enterprise. How have you been able to get over it?
Well, I want to give credit to my mom. She's an awesome woman. She's very strong-minded, very strict when necessary, and very loving as well. So I feel like with her guidance and no tolerance for, I don't want to hear you people fighting, like she'll tell us straight up, I don't want to hear you people fighting over work. You have family, you should love each other regardless whether there's property or there's none. So with her guidance and her leadership, she's been in a position to build it in us that once we're at work, it's business. Once we're home, it's personal. And even sometimes if we mix it up, we don't let personal issues get between us. And we stay as a family, we stay together, we grow together, we love and enjoy each other's company. So when you have that background and that instillment in your head over and over and over, it becomes a part of you. And you just realize that it's work, it's nothing personal. This is my family. This is the only family I'll ever have. I don't have a choice but to love, cherish, and work together and grow with them and build an entrepreneurship which down the line, 4, 5, 6 generations, at least I know that we'll have built something worthwhile.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years? Married, I hope, with kids. And of course, doing what I love doing every day, which is hospitality.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My name is William Odhiambaramogi. I work as a consultant on matters financial, investments, and business. I do research, I do advisory, and I do training on the same. In this, we work with Elim Consulting, which is a consulting firm I run. And we've been in business for the last 4 years. Since late 2009. Yeah, so that's who I am.
What is Money Talk and its relevance to budding entrepreneurs?
Money Talk is a mentorship program for young people in business, mainly maybe from poor backgrounds and might not be able to access some of the mentorship opportunities that the rest of us have had access to, or might not have access to the information that is available in the market for those who run businesses to have access to. So the idea is we bring them together, they network among themselves, those who are in business, that create linkages, but at the same time we also link them up with those who have been in business and are successful, so that they are offered mentorship and just general advice on how to do their businesses and how to grow the business as they learn from the stories of these successful business people.
What is the motivation for such forums and mentorships?
The motivation is you see a lot of young people who are not doing anything with themselves, but at the same time you see a lot of opportunities in the market, and people want quality products, people want quality services, people want things done the right way, but then again these gaps are not being met. At the same time, the young people are saying they don't have access to capital. But the government is saying we've given capital through Wezo Fund, we've given capital through Youth Fund, we've given capital through the Private Sector Fund and the Women Fund. But then the microfinance institutions are also offering money. And so there must be a major gap in terms of service provision, or in terms of these people being empowered to do the right thing in business. And we felt that that gap cannot be filled merely by training, because we've conducted several trainings. There is need for there to be networking, one, but there's also need for there to be mentorship, quality mentorship that is offered to these young people in business.
What should one consider before venturing into the hospitality industry, particularly the hotel industry?
Well, like any service industry, hotel industry is very labor intensive. You need people, number one, who have character, who are humble enough to serve. You need people who have capacity, who know what they are doing and they are not guessing. You need people who are passionate about this as you are, or maybe closely as you are. And in terms of service industry, people is key. The people you engage is very important. But beyond that also, unlike any other business, it requires a lot of close supervision. You cannot have a hotel in Mombasa and you're working in Nairobi and you expect that everything will be okay and wonderful. You need to be there in person to ensure that it is okay and it's running properly.
And finally, how can you survive in the hotel business in the wake of massive terror threats and foreign travel advisories?
Of course, after the issues of insecurity, down cost, after the travel advisories from foreign governments, but that does not negate the fact that there are real opportunities in tourism sector. As you go up country, you find there are more and more unexploited tourist opportunities that should be exploited. Obviously, as any other investment, location will be key where you're putting this facility. There is need for businesses for hotel businesses in towns because of visiting business people or any other groups of people that would want to visit the town. There is also need for hotels at tourist sites. There's the lakes, the national parks.
Alan Kay says the best way to predict the future is to invent it. At WTV, it is our advice to you that you cannot sit down and wait for good things to happen to you. You need to move out of your comfort zone and make things happen. That has been our interview segment. And now I'll leave you with the Market Watch. And now, what is trending? In our trend this week, we'll look at the most and viable beach locations at bargain prices from around the globe for you to visit. We begin in Mauritius, where the Black River and the island of Mauritius is known for its white beaches and relaxing atmosphere. Although it is a popular tourist attraction, the island does not have some more secluded and hidden beaches that are yet unknown to many. Next on queue is Mbezi Beach of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Now, Mbezi Beach is located between the Indian Ocean and Dar es Salaam. This beach destination will provide you with entirely new views and experiences. The area around this beach is lush with tropical plants, yet not too far from the city life of Dar es Salaam. And finally, Nasugbu, Batangas of Philippines. Now, Nasugbu is located in Batangas province of the Philippines and is famous for its scenic coves and long beaches. A mere 2-hour ride away from Manila, it provides a perfect vacation destination for those who are looking to get away from the busy city life. Now, the many coves provide seclusion around the U-shaped beach, which has stunning golden sands and crystal clear water. The rolling hills of Nasugbu provide a picturesque backdrop. At least the beaches are less crowded than other Filipino travel destinations.